Hey folks, it's Scott here, amateur angler, and continuing with my prep work for when I'm heading up to my fly-in trip with Hurst Air. I thought I'd share with you some of the newer products and rigs I'm going to take up with me. I like trying new techniques when I go to a quality fishery like that because you know the fish are there. If you're on a lake where you really don't know if they're there or where they are, you could be doing everything right with a system, but there's no fish. Whereas when I go up to these remote northern lakes, you know the fish are there, so it's the perfect time to try and master a skill. So a few things that I'm going to take a look at. One is, and I've been trying this year, is working on using spinner rigs or worm harnesses. Trolling around covers large areas, and then you can locate fish. And so I picked up a couple of these VMC Revolution spinner rigs. And what I like about them is they have it's kind of like a Colorado blade where they've got a slot here. I mean, they call it God, I forget what they call it, the flow-through vent or something like that. But what it allows to do is rotate at a slower trolling speed. It also gives it a bit more of a thump, thump, thump when the blade goes around. So the Revolution spinner blades are something I'm going to take a crack at. Also picked me up a supply of Lindy fuzzy grubs, and in this particular case these are a little bit smaller. These are 3/16 because in some cases I want to downsize, and what I'm looking forward to do with things like the fuzzy grubs as well as these VMC hot skirts is I'm looking to try some different jigging techniques. So instead of vertical jigging, which is typical for me, I am looking to cast out into some weeds or into some weed edges and pop and hop, and in some cases rip that jig along, and just to mix things up a little bit. The nice thing about the hot skirts is the profile of the head is like a wedge shape, and so it helps kind of punch through, and then it's dressed with a neon and sparkly skirt here as an attractor. Going along with that, I picked up a supply of neon moon eye jigs, and what makes these kind of cool is they're the shape of an aspirin head, so the profile is a little bit different instead of a ball or a flat version, again, which I think is going to help as I move them along. But they've got these really large 3D holographic eyes, which apparently is supposed to really help target in the strike of the walleye to go after the head, helping with your hook sets. And then the last thing that I'm going to take a shot is we'll use a lot of live bait, and mostly worms. But when you are pulling through the weeds, the worms have a tendency to rip right off, and you're constantly re-rigging all the time. So I picked up a few different artificial plastics, and one in particular I'm looking forward to trying are these. These are by Trigger X, and they're a paddle-tailed minnow. And in particular, these are 3.5 inch. And so the idea is, I can dress up one of these moon eyes, or I can dress up one of the hot skirts and pop those through. Hopefully, they've got a tractor, they've got sense. So I'm looking forward to giving these a real shot. Obviously, at the end of the trip, I'm going to be sharing what worked and what didn't, and you can judge for yourself whether it's worth it or not. But what I'm hoping is that if I can get something like these Trigger X to work, you can catch 4, 5, 10 fish on one piece of bait just by moving it around, and it's a lot more efficient fishing. So that's some new gear, and I will share with you whether or not I have any success with it. I'm only about a week and a half away before we get in the car to drive north to get on that bush plane. So, boy, we can't wait. Take care.